at radiovermont.com.
The energy. We walked around for 35 minutes just in the parking lot looking for this car. The passion. UVM schedules the way they do to get as high a seed as possible in the NCAA tournament and to get as much tournament prep as they can because they're not going to get it from their league. The opinions on all your favorite teams. The organization should be taking care of Matt rather than Matt taking care of the organization. This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV AM and FM and WDEVradio.com. It is a full show Wednesday up until 7 o'clock, and then we kick it over to Jazz with George Thomas. We got a ton to get to today, as we do every single day. Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio is going to stop by with us here in about 15 minutes, talk a lot about the Patriots. We'll get into the Patriots, who now it looks like we have an end to the quarterback controversy conversation. Mac Jones appears set to start on Sunday against the New York Jets. He's off the injury report. We'll tell you all about that. You'll hear a little bit from Tom Caron of Nesson today as well, who I got a chance to speak to earlier today, so kind of hear the best of TC. That'll come your way in the 6 o'clock hour. I got a little bit from Coach Brennan as well, who I spoke to yesterday. So a ton to get to, all 90 minutes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
The opening thoughts in the Brady Farkas Show are brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and by Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sticksandstuff.com. And you can get in on the text line, by the way. Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line 802-585-3026, your locally owned Napa stores in Waterbury and Morrisville. I want to start here, right? We've got a lot about the Patriots. We got Freddie. We got a lot of good stuff, but I want to start here. Today is the 2-year anniversary of our first show. October 26th, 2020 was the first installment of the Brady Farkas Show. And I don't know how many things we've done, how many shows we've had since then, but it's been a lot, and it's been a hell of a ride thus far. And I just want to reflect a little bit and say thank you. Because over the last 2 years, I'm really proud personally of what we have built at this station, what we have built with this show, and I'm really grateful. And I hope you know that I mean that. I'm really grateful to all of you for letting us do it. Again, we launched this show in October of 2020, still in the throes of the pandemic, still in the uncertainty of sports' place in the pandemic. We were in fanless arenas. Was it a risk to launch a sports show? Probably not. That's probably too strong. But sports was uncertain at the moment, that's for sure. At any given moment, we didn't know what was going to happen. We could have seen the NFL season shut down. We could have seen the NBA not come back after having completed the bubble. We didn't know what was going to happen. Playing the World Series in Texas in a very small, in a venue that was allowing a small amount of crowds, we didn't know. And at that uncertain time, this station, this company, and all of you gave me this opportunity to host this show. It would have been very easy for this company to tell me, look, sports is kind of on the back burner right now. Sports isn't as important. We don't know what sports' future is right now. Let's look at this when things are a little clearer. That would have been very easy. And the company believed in this enough to go forward with it, and you, the listeners, supported it in enough to keep us on the air. Because without you and without that support, that this doesn't happen. I recognize that, and I think you listeners deserve a lot of credit, because change isn't easy. Change when it comes to the radio is in fact really hard, and breaking someone's listening habits is always a gamble. And you all now hearing sports on your airwaves every night instead of news or jazz or politics or whatever preceded us, it's different. And most of you have adapted really, really well. And a lot of you are really enjoying what we do. And I appreciate that. And that means a lot to me. I hear constantly from people who really like the show. I hear constantly from people who like that there's a sports show in Vermont, that there is a presence of sports here in the Green Mountain State. I hear people tell me that they're happy that there is a talk show. I hear people compliment our guest lists. And I even hear people who say, hey, Brady, I'm not a huge sports fan, but I really like your show. All of that, all of those compliments, and that's how I take them. They're all compliments to me, and they all mean a whole lot. And I'm appreciative to all of you for giving this show a chance and an opportunity to grow and succeed. Phil in Middlesex says congratulations on the 2 years. I've seen a couple other people here on the text line throughout the day, throughout the week that knew this day was coming. And I've just been doing a lot of reflecting today. Will over in Plattsburgh says, thank you, Brady and the crew. It's great having a local sports show. We appreciate it. Well, Will, we appreciate you. And again, for me personally, I am super proud of what we've done. Like a lot of you out there who have worked the rungs of the ladder in your career, I've worked the rungs of the ladder in my career. And I worked for 8 years to get to this point where we had this kind of show. When I started my career in 2014 doing nothing but working at 6 a.m. pressing buttons, this was my goal. To have a show that was interactive, that was fun, that was informative, and that could grow and get better. And that's what I think we are in the midst of accomplishing right now. Previous shows I was a part of, I've been a part of a few of them. I loved them all. And all my old partners are great, and I wouldn't have changed my career trajectory really for anything. This is what I've been building for, and this is what I've been hoping would come to fruition. And this opportunity to have a show with my name on it is personally gratifying, and it's something I try not to take for granted every day that I come in here. I'm just proud and happy and excited about what this show has become. And we've got a lot of people who listen live to this show. Phil's listening live, and Will's listening live, and the rest of you who are texting are listening live. We've got people who even watch the show on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. So we got a lot of people who are tuning in live. But I was kind of blown away today when I looked at our podcast download numbers. In 2 years, we have 483,000 downloads of this podcast. 483,000 downloads. I don't know what I expected. I actually had very little expectation, right? We get anywhere between, I would say, 150 and 500 listeners on everything that we put out, right? I was hoping we'd get 25. I was hoping we'd get 50. And when I started seeing numbers like this, like 500,000 downloads in 2 years to me is a lot. When I hear 500,000 in anything, it feels like a lot. I did a deep dive today just for this reflection. We've reached listeners in the 17 and under range with our podcast. We've reached listeners in the 60 and over range in our podcast. We get listeners consistently from Massachusetts and New York and Vermont, and we've got listeners from Australia and Mexico and Canada and Germany and the UK. Like, it's all just insane to me. And it blows my mind that this show at this station has had that kind of reach and appears to be making that kind of impact. And it is a ton of fun to me. Text says, really enjoy the show. Tell me you're not moving on. Not moving on, just reflective today. That's it. This is not a everything's great, but I'm leaving conversation. It's been 2 years, and I'm just sitting here thinking about all that we've done. I think about the 2 years, like Freddie Coleman is going to join us in a little while, has been with us every step of the way, right? He's been with us every week since this show started. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's taped, sometimes it's on the internet only. But Freddie Coleman, I have spoken to every Wednesday, with very few exceptions, for the entirety of these 2 years. And since then, we have grown. Coach Brennan's with me every week. Bob Sosi, Phil Perry with us every week of the Patriots season. We've added Tom Caron. We've added Buster Olney. Like, I'm excited about I was excited about this show when it launched, and I'm really excited about where we are now, and I'm already thinking about what can we do next. What can we do next? And I also just keep coming back to thank you to all of you, because you have responded to this show in a way that even I couldn't have anticipated. And look, I know no one cares, and I think I have the coolest job in the world, but radio and sports radio is one of the most fickle businesses out there. Every day I see good people all around the country losing their jobs in this business. Every day. There's a guy I know who's really good at what he does in a really big market, didn't deserve to lose his job, just did. That's happening in this business all over the country. And because this show is succeeding, because all of you have bought into it, I'm confident that that's not going to happen to me or to us. And that's a testament to you. In this business, if something doesn't work, companies just move on. That's just the way it is. But we're still here. We've been here for the 2 years, again, because of all of you. And I'm also grateful, by the way, to all the people who have helped this show in a variety of ways over 2 years. Some people have played big roles, some have played small roles, but everybody has helped in one way or another. Lee Cattell, like Lee voices.
Want Brady to hear your opinion on the sports stories of the day? Text in at 802-585-3026.
Our text line intro, Lee voiced that. He didn't have to, he did. Steven, our digital guy, who got us going on video streaming, right? Those video streams that air live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and my Twitter account, Steven set all that up. The clips that we take from this show, the highlights that we take that go on social media, that is a direct result of having the video capabilities that Steven set up. We wouldn't be as far as we are without his work. My brother, who you've never met, who you've never talked to, is the voice of our intro.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Like, that's my brother. Okay, that's my 26-year-old brother just doing that because I asked him to. I appreciate him helping me out as well. I want to thank Colin Capisi, who was our intern last summer, who did a ton of work cutting up interviews and finding highlights and grabbing audio sound bites. I want to thank Jack Main, who was an intern with us last year, who did the same thing. He actually came on and was kind of my co-host on a couple of episodes that he helped produce. And now he's a big shot doing NBC5 television, but he helped this show at about the 1 year mark. Actually, he helped it at about the 6 month mark, helped it grow and move forward. Danny McKivergan is invaluable to this show. Danny McKivergan is the producer and director of Vermont Viewpoint and of Common Sense Radio with Bill Sayer. I will send Danny audio, and he will edit it at 11 in the morning. While another show is going on, he will find a way to do everything. He will find a way to do the job that he's doing, and while also helping this show out. Okay? The audio clips that we play, they do not find themselves. They do not edit themselves. Danny is invaluable to this show. He's made promos for us. He's cut up countless interviews for us. He's so professional, and he's so buttoned up, and I appreciate him as well. And then there's a lot of people locally who have helped us too, right? The UVM athletic staff, the Norwich athletic staff. We got people at Middlebury, high schools. As much as I love talking regional stuff, this is a local show, and I know that, and these people have helped us really elevate it. Todd Woodcroft at UVM, John Becker, Cam Ellsworth at Norwich. They've all had a role in this, and today just feeling reflective and very, very appreciative of, again, of all of you and of the opportunity, and it's something that I don't take lightly. Steve over in Fayston says 500,000 downloads. That's almost the entire population of Vermont. Wouldn't it be amazing if the entire population of Vermont was subscribed to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify? We'd be getting 600,000 downloads a day, because the way it works is that if you subscribe to us, we get a download a day from you. That's just how it works. So if everybody in the state was subscribed, we get 600,000 downloads a day. That would be a world I'd want to live in. Ray says Congratulations on 2 years. A bit heavy on Boston talk. Well, Ray, we're the home of the Red Sox. We're the home of the Patriots. This is what we do. This is what we do. Ray said some other things that are very complimentary that I'm not going to say on the air, but I appreciate you, Ray, as well. Text says, Brady, congratulations. How many hours do you prepare for the show? That's an interesting question. I never really thought about talking about that because I don't know that many people are interested, but I'll answer that. I would say, I guess it depends on what you define by preparation, but daily, about 3 hours. Kind of the rule of thumb, for me at least, is however long the show is, I tend to prepare double that amount. So I'll get up at 8 in the morning every day, and I'll go and I'll find a bunch of audio, right? All the audio that we play, I'll find that. And I'll send it off to Danny, and Danny will help me with it too, as I just mentioned. But we'll find all the audio, and we'll have somewhere between 30 and 50 audio pieces every single day. Then we'll book the interviews. Sometimes I have to tape the interviews in advance, and then we cut them up too. Then plan the show, find the topics, monitor social media, do the social media for the show that promotes the show, put the show up on the podcast channel, cut the podcast. Yeah, it's about a 3-hour preparation day, and then you go home and you're watching games. And while you're watching games, it's still preparation, right? When I watch the Red Sox, it's very rarely just watching it as a fan. It is watching it with a more critical eye, and it is thinking about, okay, what can I bring from this game to the show? When I watch the Celtics, the same way. When I watch the Bruins, the same way. When I watch the Patriots, the same way. I can't tell you how many times I have, I had something to do, somewhere to be, so I taped the Patriots game and watched it, the full show a little bit later, or the full game a little bit later. How many preseason games I taped just so I could watch every snap? That's what it takes. That's what our team does here on DEV. So the Patriots have named, well, actually, they haven't officially, but the reports are out that the Patriots are going to name Mac Jones their starting quarterback for this week. Before that, I had an opportunity today to check in with our guy, Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio, and I'm going to play that back for you in a second.
One of the nicest guys in sports talk radio, and one of the smartest.
Mac Jones went out there, and he looked the part. Had command of the huddle, had command of his teammates. That is something that everybody thought they would see. No one thought they would see it this early.
It's time for our weekly conversation with ESPN's Freddie Coleman on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
All right, well, yeah, earlier today I had a chance to check in with Freddie Coleman. I told him that it was our 2-year anniversary. I thanked him for being with us every single Wednesday since this thing has started. I said, Freddie, how are you? Thank you very much for all you've done for us.
I'm good, my man, and how about that? Happy 2-year anniversary, my brother, to you and your show, and having a chance to be a part of this from the inception to where it's going to continue to grow. It really, really is a cool thing. I get a chance to hang out with you and chop it up with you each and every Wednesday.
Well, we appreciate it. We love it. And, hey, we're not the only ones celebrating a bit today. You had some very cool career news come down the line yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to find out, and I knew about it for a couple of weeks. So I'll get a chance to do the national call for Virginia, taking on Miami down in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I've been looking to do something like this for more than a minute, and I've had a chance to do stuff on NEC Front Row covering Sacred Heart football and basketball, but having a chance to do this at my home on ESPN Radio and a national call, and I can't wait to have the chance to be a part of that on Saturday. I'm really, really excited about it.
Well, Freddie, in the ACC, we're looking forward to it. And there's a reason for me to care about Miami football now. I'll be interested in hearing the call and checking out the highlights as well. And let's move to the Patriots here. And, it's ironic. We started this show October 26, 2020, and Cam Newton had just been benched in favor of Jarrett Stidham after getting blown out by the San Francisco 49ers. And here we are 2 years later, and we're embroiled in Patriots quarterback conversation yet again. In your estimation, what happened Monday night? What do you think was the plan? What did Bill Belichick, where did he go wrong? What do you think happened Monday night?
Boy, that's a really good question because, Brady, let's be honest, the Patriots team, after that short stint that Bailey Zappi got in there and played extremely well, they didn't play well at all on both sides of the football, whether Mac Jones started the game and then later on the defense giving up all those yards rushing to the Chicago Bears. I just wonder how much of this, Brady, was Bill Belichick trying to send a message to Mac Jones that no position is safe on this team, even though we know he's going to be their quarterback or the president in the future. I wonder how much of this was another case of Bill Belichick and a Jedi mind trick, willing to throw away a football game to prove a point to his quarterback, saying that, hey, if you think that everything is going to be handed to you or that it's going to be easy to get your job back, well, we got a guy that played well in your stead that won 2 games as starting quarterback before you got back in the lineup. Bill Belichick, with anything with him, Brady, anything is on the table. Nothing is off the table. But in the beautiful mind that he is, I don't think we're ever going to find the answer why he decided to do what he did and not tell his team. The only people that knew about this was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from ESPN Monday Night Football.
If you are trying to prove a point, don't you generally try to prove a point on someone who has wronged you, on someone who has done something wrong, on someone who has spited you, and someone who's got too big a head now? None of that seems to be the case with Mac Jones. So why do you think that that's the case? Because it certainly feels to me like Mac Jones doesn't deserve to be made example of.
Because I always wonder with Bill Belichick what kind of message he's going to do to get his team motivated. And I also wonder this. I wonder how much of this is trying to take the pressure off either one of those quarterbacks by having everybody look at Bill Belichick and saying, what were you doing? Why would you do that? And this way, that focus doesn't shift to Bailey Zappi. It doesn't shift to Mac Jones. I just find it really, really weird that more than a couple of players the next day made a point to say that we didn't know he was doing this until he actually did it. And even Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi said they found out about what he was going to do when everybody else did. So whatever is going on in the confines of the mind of Bill Belichick, he is determined to make sure that the team is going to come first, and how he goes about it can be very unconventional, but it's very Belichickian because we've seen him do stuff like this to get people's attention more than a couple of times before.
Freddie Coleman, ESPN radio host, Freddie and Fitzsimmons with us here on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV. How do you think Robert Kraft feels watching all this play out?
I think Robert Kraft is on his honeymoon, so he's not thinking about anything right now as far as that goes. So he's got a lot of other things on his plate. But Robert Kraft has let it be known that any football decision, anything regarding his football operation, is going to be in the hands of Bill Belichick. I go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, and they drafted him, and it looked like that Bill Belichick wanted to move on from Tom Brady sooner than later. Then the next thing you know, Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded. That was the only time where somebody went above the head of Bill Belichick and got what they wanted when it came to Tom Brady not having to worry about Jimmy Garoppolo being a backup quarterback. But other than that, Brady, anything football relations or football operations, Robert Kraft has complete trust in Bill Belichick because he's given him 6 reasons to feel that way when it comes to championship medals. So Robert Kraft is not going to get in the middle of something unless he looks at Bill Belichick and thinks he's gone off the rails like Kanye West. And since he's nowhere near that, Brady, Robert Kraft is not going to get in the way of somebody that he entirely will trust with his football operations with the Patriots.
You know, I got to tell you, I was on the Justin Fields bandwagon in the draft 2021. I wanted the Patriots to draft Justin Fields. I lamented the fact that they didn't. I understand he hasn't been great through a season and a half. He's also not in a great situation. What we saw Monday night is the very reason why I wanted this team to have Justin Fields as their quarterback for the long term. What did you see out of him, and did it make you think twice if you were the Pats?
Oh, it makes me think twice as a Jets fan. And nothing against the Jets being a 5-2 team with Zach Wilson, who hasn't been bad, but he's been meh, but at the same time, they're 5-2. But for all the things you mentioned, Brady, about Justin Fields, not having the best situation, can you imagine him behind the Patriots offensive line with their running backs, or behind that Jets offensive line with their running backs, and you got Garrett Wilson on the outside and those guys? I can't even imagine what he would do. He shows that special ability that he's not going to point fingers. He's not going to say, look at me, look at me. It's all going to be about how can I get better and make this team get better. So the same things you saw on Monday night were some of the things I saw last year when he got a chance to start early this year. I said, man, can you imagine if he was in a better situation with a better coaching staff, what that will look like, whether it's in New England or definitely with my New York Jets.
Your Jets are 5-2. They're bringing out the all-black uniforms and the black helmet for the first time on Sunday. They haven't beaten the Patriots since 2015. I think this is the one I know that they want. How do you feel about the matchup going into Sunday?
Oh, there's no doubt about that, because now if you're the New England Patriots, you have that motivational character to show people that you weren't as bad on Monday night when you lost to the Chicago Bears on your home field. And if you're the New York Jets, you lose Breece Hall, but then you get Robinson, a guy that rushed over 1,000 yards of rookie season, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he fits what they do. He's not going to replace Breece Hall, but that's a wonderful option to have to have a guy in his stead replacing that running back that had been terrific. I find it very funny, too, Brady, that with all this stuff that's gone on with the Patriots, that Las Vegas has installed them as a 1.5-point favorite on the road. And Vegas knows something. They didn't build those tall buildings out there giving away money, taking money from people. That's just how that goes. But this Jets team, I think they're the best front four in football right now, led by Quinn and Williams. And if they're able to get home with 4 guys and put that pressure in the Patriots running game, then it puts pressure in the Patriots passing game. And Reed and Sauce Gardner in the secondary have been blanking wide receivers. I can't wait to see how this matches up, even though the Patriots are 1.5-point favorite going on the road. This Jets team's playing pretty confidently, and I wonder if they're going to open the playbook because they have to a little bit more with Jack Wilson being their quarterback and not having Breece Hall and Vera Tucker in the offensive line.
Patriots are getting calls on multiple wide receivers here in advance of the trade deadline. We've heard they've gotten calls on Jacoby Myers and Devontae Parker and Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, all 4 of them. The Patriots are 3-4. They're currently in last place, but they're really not out of the playoff conversation right now. Do you think they should be entertaining offers on their wideouts, or should they be standing pat looking to buy?
They're always going to listen. And Bill Belichick, he loves a lot of things. 2 of them are money and extra draft picks. If he can find extra draft picks in the lower rounds of the draft, then that's something he's going to definitely going to explore. And if I'm the New England Patriots, I wouldn't make those kind of moves. You just have to get better on offense. And I think they got the guys that can do that. Bill Belichick is never going to be a guy hunting for a number 1 wide receiver. He had that Randy Moss. He's not going down that road again, especially without Tom Brady. And it didn't work out winning a championship. But they're going to listen. And if something gets their attention and it's something that they really want for the future of this organization, you can best believe Bill Belichick will probably make that kind of trade and will surprise so many people they decide to trade that player for draft picks, because that's what he's done before.
Freddie Coleman, ESPN Radio, Freddie and Fitzsimmons, weeknights 9 p.m. Freddie, I'll get you out of here on this. Celtics are 3-1. They're off until Friday when they take on the new-look Cavaliers. It's only 4 games in, but your thoughts on the C's?
I'm not surprised they're 3-1, and by the same token, I wasn't surprised they lost to Chicago, because that's the NBA. Even though they started that game off on a 12-0 run, you have skilled guys like Zach LaVine and also DeMar DeRozan. They can flip that script in a hurry. But they look like a team that's going to play faster, and we talked about that, Brady, before the season got started. Not having Robert Williams at the beginning of the season, and we're not going to see him until close to Christmas time or right after that. But that hasn't stopped them from being a really good defensive team, because they can switch everything, and they're long all over the place where they make it tougher on people. So we've been able to see that from the Celtics team that's going to play a lot faster because they can get out and run and get out in transition. And Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been able to lead that way. And Malcolm Brogdon has been terrific being a Swiss Army knife for this basketball team. So I'm not surprised that they're 3-1, mainly because there's still a lot of talented dudes. And I think they want to show people that even though Ime Udoka is not going to be there the whole season, that doesn't mean they're going to take a step back in the Eastern Conference. It still would not surprise me when it's all said and done. When we talk about the top 4 teams in the East, the Celtics will be in that top 3, top 2 conversation, because they still have that amount of talent that can deal with anybody in the Eastern Conference.
Well, we'll see him Friday against the Cavaliers and Donovan Mitchell and company. So, Freddie, man, we appreciate it. Again, 2 years and counting. You've been with us every step of the way. You're the best. We appreciate it. And have a great, congratulations on your success as well. We can't wait to hear the call.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and also looking forward to talking about it and other things next week when we get together in 7 days, my friend.
Absolutely. We'll be tuned in to ESPN Radio, some ACC football, including the Miami Hurricanes. Freddie, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Brady. Have a good week, my man.
Absolutely. Freddie Coleman, one of the best. He's been with us every week since this show's inception. We're grateful to him for that. And he gets a big break for himself on Saturday when he does ESPN Radio's call of Virginia and Miami. So Freddie's the best. Freddie said some very interesting things I want to get to at the top of the next hour regarding the Patriots, but the news is out there now since we talked that Field Yates of ESPN reporting that Mac Jones is going to start on Sunday. The team didn't confirm it. Mac didn't confirm it at media availability. But Field Yates is as plugged into the Patriots as anybody on the national scene. I trust his reporting on Patriots football. Mary in Randolph says, Brady, congratulations on 2 years. I enjoy your show. It enables me to have intelligent sports conversations. Thank you very much there, Mary. We appreciate you. We get Joe says, love Freddie Coleman, Brady. Best guest you could have gotten him on. We love him on ESPN Radio. And yeah, Freddie's great. Joe also said, great to have you back on the radio, Brady. You're an awesome person to listen to. Really the only one I do. You are honest, and that's hard to find these days. Congratulations. Well, Joe, thank you very much for your listening and support as well. And Travis says 2 years down and many more to come for you at WDEV. So, yeah, we're 2 years in and loving it. CBS News is next. We'll be right back reacting to what Freddie had to say on DEV.
96.1 WDEV FM Warren, 96.5 W243 AT Berry, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury.
CBS News on the Hour, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Monica Ricks in New York. A man in Wisconsin faces 6 consecutive life sentences for killing 6 people and injuring dozens more at a Christmas parade last year. A jury convicted Gerald Brooks for purposely driving his SUV through the crowd. Waukesha County DA Susan Upper.
There's much healing ahead for the victims and for our community, but we hope today's result is a step further along that path. Remain strong, Waukesha.
3 men have also been convicted in Michigan in a scheme to kidnap the state's governor. CBS's Jim Krasula.
The men were found guilty of providing, quote, material support in a plot by members of a paramilitary group to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020. Prosecutors said the men held gun drills with the leader of the plot, who was upset with the governor's COVID-19 restrictions.
The U.S. now suggests Russia could be helping Iran crack down on women's rights protests.
I'm Stephen Portnoy at the White House, where officials say they have reason to believe that Russia may be advising Iran on how best to manage protesters.
Drawing on Russia's extensive experience in suppressing open demonstrations.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says it follows Iran providing Russia with explosive drones to use in its war on Ukraine.
Our message to Iran is very, very clear. Stop killing your people and stop sending weapons to Russia to kill Ukrainians.
Herschel Walker has denied even more abortion allegations today with less than 2 weeks to go now till midterms. CBS's Skylar Henry says this Senate race in Georgia is tight.
Walker brought in South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham to help him campaign.
I am here and I am worried. If we can win in Georgia, it's over for them. Do you realize that the pathway to the majority in the Senate runs through the state of Georgia?
Georgia is one of 5 toss-up states that will determine which party controls the Senate. And right now, Senator Raphael Warnock has a slim lead in the polls.
A new study on dementia shows nearly a third of participants over 65 may have some sort of cognitive impairment. Dr. Jennifer Manley says their backgrounds could have a lot to do with it.
We know that these inequalities in health, dementia is not an exception, are because of historical and current structural racism and income inequality.
Well, here's a good reason not to clean today. Pine Sol is recalling its lavender, sparkling wave, and lemon-scented products. The company says they could contain a bacteria that's dangerous for people with weakened immune systems. If you've got them, dump them. But regular Pine Sol is still good. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
Looking for a little more art in your life? Discover the rich arts and culture scene right in downtown Waterbury. Find the perfect artwork to add to your home, whether you prefer pretty paintings and photographs or stunning ceramic sculptures. Find something that combines form and function, or stock up on supplies to keep you busy through fall and winter. Or take a self-guided tour of Waterbury's fantastic public arts in downtown and beyond. While you're looking, keep an eye out for the architecture and other landmarks, or combine it with a historic walking tour. Discover the creative side of Waterbury. Learn more at discoverwaterbury.com.
Hi, Nicole here, owner of Stowe Street Cafe, located at 29 Stowe Street right here in Waterbury Village. We're proud to be Waterbury's community-minded cafe, featuring local coffee, food, and art, including delicious breakfast, lunch, and weekend brunch with a wonderfully unique collection of art and gifts made in Vermont and beyond. Come in to order, eat, and shop, and for even quicker orders to go, order ahead online at stowestreetcafe.com. Our dining room's open, as well as our beautiful deck and patio. Come discover why Stowe Street Cafe is so much more than just a coffee shop.
When it's 4th and goal, Vermonters go to Chips Auto in Randolph. Feel secure on the road with tires from quality brands like Nokian, Bridgestone, Firestone, Blizzak, and Goodyear. And Chips can provide repairs and routine maintenance like oil and tire changes to ensure that your vehicle is running at its best. For the win, it's Chips Auto and Tire on Weston Street in Randolph and online at chipsautoandtire.com.
Rise and shine with WTEV Sunday mornings. Begin the day at 6 with Joel Nasman. And 2 hours of classical music, followed by the Takeout with Major Gary. A casual discussion of politics, policy, and pop culture. Then it's Jane Pauley and CBS Sunday Morning with stories about the arts, music, nature, and entertainment. The morning concludes with Sunday Morning Swing Time, an hour of swing tunes. Join us Sunday mornings on WDEV AM and FM and streaming at WDEVradio.com.
The Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026.
This is former NFL wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson, and now we're back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV Radio and WDEVradio.com.
I also want to thank guys like Keyshawn Johnson who recorded things like that for us here on this show as we think about all the stuff that's happened here in 2 years. Keyshawn recorded that. Field Yates recorded something. Freddie recorded something. We've added Buster. We've added Tom Caron. It's been a great 2 years, and here we are on our 2-year birthday. Text asked, Brady, congrats on 2 years. What is the most enjoyable part of my show? It's going to sound corny and cliche, but I just love what I do, right? This is what I've always wanted to do. And I'm not afraid to admit my own flaws, okay? I am good at a few things. Talking is one of them. Okay, I've always been able to talk, right? Meet people I can yuck it up with some rando at the bar. I can yuck it up with somebody on the bus. I can make friends with, or I can make conversation with just about anybody. Talking is something I've always been good at. I used to get in trouble in school for talking too much. So talking is something I've always been good at, and sports is what I know. Now, my goal is to put the two together and try to do this show well. That's for you all to decide. But these are the things that I know. Talking and sports. I'm not very good with my hands. I'm trying to get better. I can't work on cars. I can't install light fixtures. I need help cooking things. I got a lot of shortcomings, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I wish I were better at more things. This is what I'm good at. Talking and sports. And I've just tried to combine that into something that I'm passionate about. I love doing this show. If you're asking me to pick a favorite, I love talking to the people we get to talk to, really. And I love bringing them to the show because there's a couple of different reasons. I am a sports fan also, right? So for me to talk to a Glover Quinn, who we had a couple weeks ago on the show, for me to talk to a Danny White, who used to play quarterback for the Cowboys, who we had last year, for me to talk to an Amon Green, who we had on last year during Super Bowl week. Like, when we get to talk to former athletes and guys who cover sports, the fan in me comes out. I get excited about talking to guys that I watched play growing up. I also get excited to bring those guests here because one of my favorite compliments is like, wow, you got that guy in Vermont? Like, we had LeGarrette Blount on a couple months ago, and someone said to me, you got LeGarrette Blount on to come on in Vermont? I'm like, yes, if you work hard enough to get these people, a lot of them will come on. Very rarely does somebody big league me and say, oh, you're not big enough for me to come on. So I love when somebody says, like, oh, wow, that guy came on in Vermont? Yes, and that gives me validation that we're working hard enough at it. And that makes me feel good. So I love bringing on some of these big names because I get to talk to them and I get to draw on their experience, and their experiences can help shape some of my opinions and help frame some of my discussions. But also, you all get rewarded with a big name that apparently people are surprised would come on here. And I love doing that. So Brady Farkas Show, somebody says, do you know when to stop talking? No. I stop talking at 6:57 when the last break gets taken. That's when I stop talking. So 802-585-3026. The show is available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All of our interviews are there. All of our full shows are there. If you ever miss any of the show, that is the best way to go in and see what you missed. So the report came out about an hour and a half ago from Field Yates of ESPN that our guy Field Yates, our friend Field Yates, another friend of the show, that Mac Jones is set to start on Sunday against the Jets. Mac Jones is off the injury report. So the ankle is off the injury report. That means we're supposed to think of him as 100% he is starting. That is the right move. And it's the right move for several reasons. One, it's just the right move football-wise. You saw Bailey Zappi turn into a pumpkin in the second half on Monday night. This does not mean that Bailey Zappi is bad. Does not mean that Bailey Zappi is awful. Bailey Zappi is not better at this point than Mac Jones. Bailey Zappi played at Western Kentucky. Mac Jones played at Alabama. Mac Jones won a national championship. Mac Jones finished in the top 5 of Heisman Trophy voting. And none of that stuff usually impresses me. But Mac Jones has played at a higher level of football in more big games, in more meaningful games than Bailey Zappi has. Mac Jones has also started 17 games last year in the NFL plus 3 this year. Mac Jones has started 20 games in his NFL career. He has won 11 of them. He has gotten to, or maybe he started 21 games, I should say. He's won 11 of them. He's been in a playoff game. He's gotten a team to the playoffs. Mac Jones has a better pedigree, is a more polished player, and has had more success and experience at the NFL level. He is the guy that should be playing. It's the right move football-wise. I also think that hopefully this is an acknowledgement by the Patriots and by Bill Belichick that last week was an unnecessary clown show. It's Wednesday, and Field Yates has that the Patriots are going to start Mac Jones. This is not what we saw. Last week was a clown show. We saw the Patriots day by day. We'll see what happens. And you go up to the game, and it's Sunday afternoon, and it's Monday night. No one knows who's going to play, and the reports are out that Mac took the snaps. He's going to play, but is he going to start? And then, we're going to play 2 quarterbacks. It was a mess. And after the game, it was a mess, and yesterday it was a mess too. Hopefully, the decision to let it be known that Mac is going to start as of today, hopefully that is an acknowledgement. You know what? We don't need to go through that again. We didn't handle it right. Our team didn't need to be inundated with these questions. Our team didn't need to be left in the dark. Hopefully, the Patriots putting this out there, or hopefully it being out there. Again, the Patriots didn't confirm this, but I trust Fields reporting on the Pats till the end of the earth. Okay, Field is a guy who I would put all of my eggs in his basket when it comes to Patriots news. He used to work for the team. He's got a source in there. So if he's hearing it, it's happening. And he often gets those things before they become official. So the Pats, Mac and Zappi didn't need it. The fans didn't need it. The team didn't need it. Hopefully it being out there today is an acknowledgement that we handled it wrong. And also, finally, maybe having it out there today, just maybe, is a buoy to Mac Jones's mental state. Because we talked yesterday about the possibility that Mac could go in the tank mentally, and everybody's thinking it, okay? Everybody was worried about Mac Jones's mental state. You're going to hear kind of the best of my Tom Caron interview in the next 25 minutes. Even Tom Caron talked with me a little bit about Mac Jones in a spot that you're not going to hear in that interview.
Don't you risk losing Mac Jones for the season? I mean, I think there's a real crisis of confidence here. I hope he's tough enough to overcome this. But he got an earful. If you're Mac Jones, you're standing on the sideline thinking, they hate me. New England hates me.
So Tom Caron is out here worried about Mac. Andy Hart of WEEI earlier today said he thinks Mac is broken.
Yes, absolutely. I think on the field, that throw was symbolic of a broken quarterback. Off the field, Tom, you just gestured that he just doesn't look quite right with his collar of his shirt. It's the whole thing. Like, the guy that we saw come in and we heard Judon, he has swagger. We're surprised with his swagger. And then he went toe-to-toe with the aura of Cam Newton and whooped him, took the job. You see that guy? Because I haven't seen that guy, and I think it's an accumulation of the last 8 months. The coaching change, the scheme change, the frustration in the summer, him asking why, them not having the answers he likes.
So everybody was worried about Mac's mental state. Just maybe this being out there today, just maybe that calms some of that down. I still think that Mac is probably going to be looking over his shoulder a bit while he's on the field. But at least now for the rest of the week, maybe he can go through and repair some of that confidence, because you should have been concerned with how Mac was doing. This is something that really bothers me about what Bill Belichick was all about this week. Bill Belichick, I think, was unnecessarily putting doubt in Mac Jones's mind. I didn't love any of it. We spoke with Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio in the last hour, and I asked him, what do you think happened on Monday? And he said something very interesting.
I wonder how much of this was another case of Bill Belichick and the Jedi mind trick, willing to throw away a football game to prove a point to his quarterback, saying that, hey, if you think that everything is going to be handed to you or that it's going to be easy to get your job back, well, we got a guy that played well in your stead that won 2 games as starting quarterback before you got back in the lineup. Bill Belichick, with anything with him, Brady, anything is on the table. Nothing is off the table.
So Freddie comes on last hour and says he wonders if Bill Belichick is playing Jedi mind tricks with Mac Jones. And he's not the only one who thinks that. Ted Johnson, former Pats linebacker who played for Belichick, said the exact same thing.
If there's the only person that knows that is Bill, I can speculate and I'll try and guess. My only thing is he for some reason he wants to keep the heat on Mac Jones. He does not feel as though that Mac Jones has earned the right to be comfortable just yet. That's the only thing I can think of.
My question is this. Freddie thinks it, Ted Johnson thinks it. If they both think it, there's probably some truth to it. My question through all of this, why does Bill Belichick feel the need to teach Mac Jones a lesson? If last week's craziness and being pulled after three series and all that, if all of that is designed to teach Mac Jones a lesson, my question is why? Usually, you want to teach lessons to people who have wronged you, to people who have hurt you, to people who have done something wrong work ethic-wise, to people who have been in trouble. Hey, the high school kid came late to practice today. We're going to make him run wind sprints all practice long. That's teaching somebody a lesson. Hey, Farkas showed up for work, half in the bag, so we're taking him off the air for a week. That's teaching somebody a lesson. Hey, Farkas showed up late for the show. Now we're putting him on overnights. That's when you teach somebody a lesson. The starting running back was out partying the night before the game. We are sitting him for the first half if we're the college team. Hey, the NBA small forward was out partying all night and showed up to practice hungover. He's not playing in the next game. Punishments and lessons I get. I don't get them for Mac Jones. I don't get them for Mac Jones because physical errors, that is one thing, right? You respond to physical errors by you can yell at him, you can bench him, all those things. Mental errors, though, those are the ones that generally mental and maturity errors are generally what gets punished by lesson teaching, and I don't see those for Mac Jones. Okay? Since when has Mac been partying all night and not prepared? Doubtful that that's happening. Mac Jones not working out properly anymore? Also doubt that. Mac came into the season incredibly prepared. If you don't think he's playing well, that's one thing. But you can't say he didn't come in prepared. Organized throwing sessions, met his new teammates, dropped weight, worked with a throwing coach, all that kind of stuff. Mac hasn't been talking bad about the organization, hasn't been talking bad about the city, the fans, or the coaching staff. So I don't get why Mac needs to be taught a lesson. If you think Mac just isn't playing well, then you call him into the office and you talk about it. You have a one-on-one film session with him. You call him out in front of the rest of the team during film session, and it stays within the group. You bench him. Like, if it's physical errors that are bothering you, there's a lot of ways to handle that. Playing mind games with somebody, that's for somebody who's screwing up mentally or emotionally, and it's not the case with Mac Jones. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Think about it like a relationship for you. All right, think about your own relationships. You put the milk away wrong the wife probably not going to be all that mad at you. You put it on the wrong cupboard. Hey, that's a physical error. Just screwed up. It's okay. You said you'd be home at 11, and you got home at 2 from the bar. Well, now she's going to punish you, and you're going to be taught a lesson. You're going to sleep on the couch. She's not going to make you dinner. She's not going to have something ready for you. Oh, you forgot to pick the kids up from school? Well, now you're going to pick the kids up from school every night for a month because you need to learn the lesson. That is what happens. When you make a mental or a maturity error, you get taught lessons. Mac Jones doesn't have those problems. So I don't get it. Freddie thinks he's trying to be taught a lesson. Ted Johnson thinks he's being taught a lesson. It makes 0 sense to me. Makes 0 sense to me. Text says, what does Belichick do this weekend? Well, the report's out that Mac Jones is going to start on Sunday. Now the question is Bill Belichick committed to Mac Jones? That is the next question. Who is going to start is one thing. Who is going to finish is another. The Jets have a very good defensive front. The Jets have some pretty good players in the defensive backfield, like Reed, who used to play for my Seahawks, and Sauce Gardner, who's a first-round pick, excellent rookie out of Cincinnati. The Jets are good defensively. They have some holes offensively for sure, but they're good defensively. They've stifled Aaron Rodgers. They just beat Denver. They beat Cleveland. The Jets have some momentum, and they have some players. If Mac Jones comes out and goes 3 for 9 with 2 picks to start, is Bill Belichick sticking with him, or is any going to the kid again? Because to me now it's less important about who starts as it is who finishes. That I think is the all-encompassing thought process. But I just don't get why Bill Belichick needs to teach Mac Jones a lesson. Mac Jones deserves better than that. And I know the words deserve and fair, they're not really part of professional sports. Mac Jones deserves better than this. If you think Mac is turning it over too much and you're trying to prove a point to him, like, hey, kid, we're going to take you out if you throw a pick, that's no way to live. That's no way to play quarterback. And Mac, you've been turning it over too much, so we're not going to name you as the starter. We're going to make you sing for your supper until you stop turning it over. That's not right. And that's not the best for the player or the football team. I'll never forget. I was a starting pitcher on senior night in high school. I walked 2 or 3 guys in a row. Coach came out to me and said, Brady, you walk one more guy, you're out. What happened? I threw 4 straight balls. Like, when you get an edict like that, you can't help but think negative thoughts. So if Bill Belichick goes to Mac and says, hey, one more pick, Mac, and you're done, that's no way to play. The texter says, I agree with you. Put Mac in and leave him there and then make your decision. Agree. Mac Jones should start the game. Mac Jones should finish the game, provided he is healthy. Provided he is healthy. And look, if Mac comes in and goes 25 for 32 for 278, 2 scores and no picks, we'll have a conversation on Monday. If Mac Jones comes in and goes 14 for 29 for 160 and 3 picks, we'll have a conversation on Monday. But we've got to see what happens, and Mac deserves the chance to at least have a longer leash than 3 series. Text says, you can see the lack of confidence when Mac came into the game. Not good for your starting quarterback. Totally agree. Totally agree. And Bill Belichick has a hand in creating some of that confidence and taking it away. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. I want to put a bow on some of the Patriots stuff here. Just want to put a bow on it. We're going to get to who's saying what. I got a bunch of people talking about the Pats, and I think we're done with the Pats for the day.
Whoa. What did he say?
They have an expensive but totally unimpressive receiving core, and they have at absolute best, at most charitable, the 9th best quarterback in their own conference.
They really said that?
Every damn thing is politics and race, and I'm losing my mind over it.
It's time for Who's Saying What on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Who's Saying What? Brought to you by Vermont Laser Wash. That's Central Vermont's home of unlimited car washes. Unlimited car washes, just $20 a month. One free car wash. Just text the word Vermont to the number 30 and then 400. We'll get to the audio in a second, but Bob in Moncton says the ultimate goal is to win, period. Who gives you the better chance? I don't know, but that's what the coaches should be thinking about. The guy that gives you the better chance is Mac Jones, right? Let's examine where the Patriots are at right now. The Patriots are 3-4. The Patriots are still very much in the throes of a playoff race. The goal is to get to the playoffs. So therefore, my goal is to win every single week. And Mac Jones gives me the chance to win every week. Every week this year. If you are a team that doesn't care about winning this year, that's when you make decisions like going to another quarterback because you're thinking that guy gives us the best chance to win long term. Right? Mitch Trubisky gives the Steelers a better chance to win today than Kenny Pickett does. Kenny Pickett's the guy who's going to help him long term. That's why they went to him. That's why they went to him. That is why, that's why Sam Erlinger is now going to start for Matt Ryan. Because the Colts aren't caring as much about this year right now, and they're prepared to see if Erlinger's a guy for next year or do they need to draft somebody. The Pats are still thinking about this year, and Mac Jones is the guy that helps them this year right now. If they become 3-8, then you want to play Zappy and see if he's the guy for next year, then go right ahead. But right now, it's Mac. Very quick comment here from Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports Radio, the nationally syndicated host. He was talking about the Patriots, and he said something interesting, and again, very short.
This is a boring team, and on a fairly regular occurrence, not necessarily a good team.
Says the Patriots are increasingly boring. I got to ask, in what way does Colin Cowherd think the Patriots are boring? Because I hope he means boring on the field. Because this last couple weeks has been anything but boring off the field. Anything but. Last year, Cam Newton was interesting all the time, right? So when Cam was here, the Pats were interesting. Cam has to miss preseason game because of vaccination. That was interesting. Mac gets drafted in the first round. They take a quarterback. That's interesting. Patriots have been interesting off the field a lot, actually. Last year, they won 10 games. That seems pretty interesting on the field. Off the field, the Cam versus Mac stuff was interesting. Now we got Mac versus Zappy. We got the fans turning on Mac and championing Zappy. What is Colin talking about? Actually, the Patriots were boring with Tom Brady. Now, they were winning, so he didn't have a problem with it, apparently. The Pats have been more interesting than usual. You got Jacoby Myers willing to put on record, I didn't know what the plan was. You got Patriots players speaking out like they've never spoken out before. You got coaching drama in the offseason. I actually think the Patriots have been one of the more interesting teams in the NFL for a while now. They don't win as much, but they're certain. If interesting is what you're looking for, the Patriots have been, frankly, fairly interesting. Let's go to Keyshawn Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson, who actually you just heard at the beginning of the segment with the intro, he said, here's his problem with Mac Jones.
I think he's the same guy that he was a year ago. Me personally, I don't think he gotten any better. I don't think he's gotten any worse. You can be packaged up and things can be camouflaged around you because of the success of your team. And because of the success of the team, you get certain accolades and people feel like those accolades are going to take you to the next level and you should be the guy. I don't give a damn who's talking about it. Doesn't matter. I can only listen to what the people in the building is talking about and form my opinion based on that. That's all I can do. And based on what I seen early part of this season and last year, it looks the same to me.
So Keyshawn says the problem with Mac is that he hasn't gotten any better. Now, I don't buy that. I think Mac Jones has gotten better over the offseason, right? I think he's made gains somewhere. I'm not going to tell you he's light years ahead of where he was a year ago, but Mac Jones is certainly, he's thinner. He's in better shape. He looks a little more mobile. I think Mac Jones has made gains. They might be small, but they are gains. I do not think he's the exact same player he was a year ago. He's throwing a better deep ball than he did last year because last year he didn't throw the deep ball. He's regressed in his decision-making, but there have been some gains. But Keyshawn's point brings me back to an analogy I used all off season, and I don't want to hammer this one too much. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it was maybe the best analogy I've ever had. When you play a video game, okay, every player has a rating. That tells you how good the player is. Patrick Mahomes, I'm sure, is a 98. Tom Brady, I'm sure, is a 98. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, is a 97. Okay, the best players have the best rankings. Let's just say last year, Mac Jones came in at a 70. That would be pretty high for a rookie, right? And that would be because he played for Nick Saban, he played at Alabama, he's got a championship pedigree. Mac Jones came in at 70. The problem for me is that Mac Jones is never going to take the jump needed to get to a 95. So I think Mac Jones is going to get better. But Mac Jones is going to get better very incrementally, and then he's going to peak. I've spent a lot of time defending Mac Jones. I've spent a lot of time lately telling you Mac Jones should be the starter. He should. However, I have said the same thing for months. Mac Jones is good, not great. Mac Jones is good, not special. He deserves to be the starter for this team right now. But he is not the guy I would want a quarterback for a decade. He's not the guy I'd want a quarterback to pay $50 million a year to. To me, he's not that. I'm paying $50 million a year for 95s. Mac Jones comes in at a 70. And I think his gains are going to be very incremental. Because I said it from the beginning. I believe Mac Jones came in a largely polished player. Not a finished product, but a largely polished player. Right? He'd already had elite coaching. So he wasn't going to get like all of a sudden way better just because he had NFL coaching. He already had elite coaching. So that wasn't going to give him a huge jump. He could get his arm a little better, but he's not going from throwing 87 miles an hour to 97. It's just not going to happen in the NFL. He's not going to go from running a 5 flat 40 to a 4.4. It's not going to happen. So Mac didn't have he didn't have any glaring holes. He was kind of good at everything. But he doesn't have any places he can massively improve. So back to the video game analogy, I think Keyshawn's wrong. Mac came in at a 70. Now he's a 74. But then he'll be a 76, and then he'll be a 79, and then he'll be an 81, and all of a sudden, it'll be 5 years into his career, he'll be an 81, and you have to decide, is $50 million worth it for a guy who's an 81 when Joe Burrow's a 91, and Patrick Mahomes is a 95, and Tom Brady is in the league. And, and there's just a group of Lamar Jackson's a 93. Like, Mac Jones is going to get better, but it's going to be incremental and it's going to be small. You know who else are 81s? Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo and Jared Goff. All of that is in there. Okay, they're all in that group, and that's who Mac, I believe, is headed for. So, look, Josh Allen might have come in at a 59, given that he played at Wyoming and he wasn't accurate, but guess what? He had huge holes in his game, and if he corrected them, he's going to be the 97 that you see now. There was a lot of room for improvement. Mac doesn't have a lot of room for improvement. You look at Daniel Jones, okay? Daniel Jones came in, unproven, played at Duke, not a great football school, not great coaching there, comes in at a 73 or a 67, and all of a sudden Brian Daboll's jumping him up 15 percentage points. That when guys have massive holes, there's also a massive chance for improvement. Mac Jones didn't have massive holes, therefore there's not a huge chance for improvement. Keyshawn says he looks the same. I don't buy that, but he's also never going to get appreciably better. And that has always been my problem with Mac Jones. Tex says, I think Jones can read a defense much better this year. I like Mac. I like him. And on a rookie contract, I'm okay with him, right? I'm never going to be okay paying him $50 million a year. I wish they'd surround him with better talent while he's cheap and affordable, like Cleveland did with Baker Mayfield. And they got to the playoffs, and that was the only time they did. And then they moved off of him. I wish they'd put talent all over him like the Rams did with Jared Goff, and they got to a Super Bowl. We had questions about Jalen Hurts. Now he's playing better, but the Eagles went out and they acquired A.J. Brown. You had questions about Josh Allen. The Bills went and got Stephon Diggs. The Patriots haven't done that kind of stuff. I wish they would have. So I like Mac. I'm not in love with him. I don't think he's my guy for a decade. I just don't. I wouldn't pay him that kind of money. So Keyshawn says he hasn't gotten better. I don't buy that. It's just that his gains are incremental. And that's a problem because Jalen Hurts might have come in at a 70, but he's going to be a 75 by last year, and he's going to be an 83 by the end of this year, and he's going to be an 87 by the end of next year. And his ceiling is higher than Mac Jones's. It just is. Justin Fields, you saw the other night what he can do, the room for improvement he has. Mac Jones might be better than Justin Fields today. Justin Fields is going to blow him out of the water if he harnesses his athleticism. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. UVM men's basketball starts its season this weekend. A very interesting development is happening under the hood in Catamount Country. I'll tell you what that is next on DEV.
Hi, this is Kim Farnham. I'm the Community Relations and Development Director at Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice.
And this is Kelly Finnegan. I'm the Community Relations and Events Coordinator at CVHHH. We are expanding our busy community relations and development team, and we're looking for someone to work a flexible 10-hour per week schedule.
This role manages CVHHH's extensive donor database, including data entry of donations and running various reports. This person also assists with volunteer management. We are looking for someone who is detail-oriented, organized, and who supports Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice's work, caring for Central Vermonters at home.
If this is you, visit us online to read the full description and apply.
Visit www.cvhhh.org.
Got wood heat? Go with the Chimney Wizards. Plainfield Hardware General Store and Deli, along with Selkirk Chimney Pipes, has the lowest prices on the largest selection of 6 and 8-inch pipes. Metal Bestis Chimney Pipes and Plainfield Hardware carry DSP close clearance interior pipe that has a lifetime guarantee. Central Vermont's Metal Bestis Chimney and Vent Pipe source is Plainfield Hardware General Store and Deli. Route 2 between Plainfield and East Montpelier.
Marvin windows are designed for unprecedented performance and exceptional aesthetics. Marvin's expansive window portfolio has every style you can imagine, all of them crafted with the highest quality material and the ability to mix and match across product lines that allows you to achieve the right form and function for your residential, commercial, and replacement needs. See our Marvin specialist at Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber in Middlesex, St. Albans, Enosburg, Swanton, and Derby, or online at sticksandstuff.com.
At Northfield Savings Bank, we celebrate the ways you work and why you work. To build a business, to make a brighter future, to do something that matters. You don't do just one thing in your business. Neither do we. Whatever your size, you have goals for yourself and those around you. Our commitment is helping you get there. Builders, makers, doers. Northfield Savings Bank. Find out more about us at nsbvt.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, everybody, I'm Lee Cattell. Have your lunch with Brady Farkas and me weekdays on the Midday News Service. The latest local news, Brady's sports report, Roger Hill updates from the Forecast Center, plus business, interviews, and breaking news as it happens. The Midday News Service, weekdays during the noon hour on Vermont's news and sports leader, WDEV FM and AM. Streamed at WDEVradio.com. Think you know sports better than Brady does? Text in with your thoughts at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV, AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. What rating would you put on Bailey Zappi if you were talking about your video game analogy? Well, I would say that Bailey Zappi comes in probably given where he played from. He probably comes in, if he were on a video game, he'd probably come in at about a 60. And by the end of the year, he will have made some substantial improvements. It'll probably be a 67. If I think Mac's going to be a 75 by the end of the year, then Zappe is 67. Mac's still better. And Mac, I think, will still improve better than Zappe will overall. Like, Mac, I think his career, like his plateau is like a 82. I think Zappe's plateau is probably about a 76. So Mac is the guy I would rather have over Zappe. And considering they're under contract for the same amount of time, considering the money is not egregious, I'd rather go with the guy who's a little bit better. If you told me, hey, Mac's $50 million a year and Zappe's 200 or 500 grand, I would say, okay, well, I'd probably go with Zappe because the difference in money makes up for the difference in ability. Well, that's not the case. I think that they're largely similar in money, so therefore, Mac being a little bit better is the guy, and Mac is significantly better right now as well. So, Brady, relax. A great quarterback once said, meaning Aaron Rodgers. What am I relaxing about? I'm just telling you the truth. Mac Jones, to me, is not the guy for a decade. Other texter, Brady, when did you get interested in sports radio? I got interested in sports radio when I got hired to work in sports radio. I was just looking for a job in media. I had never done radio before. They hired me. I learned everything I could, realized I liked it, and that was in 2014. I got my first job in February of 2014. So I've been going through here now for 8 years. Bob says, you're probably right on Mac's plateau, but we probably don't know Bailey Zappe's yet. Let's think about something. Okay. Let me pull up the measurables here on Zappe. Bailey Zappe is 6'1". Bailey Zappe is a small quarterback. Okay, and we saw that, right? He had 4 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage the other day. 4 passes batted down at the line. He's a small quarterback. At 6'1", do you think that Bailey Zappe can be a truly great quarterback? Like a great quarterback? Does he have Drew Brees is the comp, right? For all short quarterbacks, Drew Brees is the comp. Well, Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Bailey Zappe is not going to be Drew Brees. Russell Wilson is a small quarterback, and for a really long time, Russell Wilson had elite legs and elite deep ball. Does Bailey Zappe have those things? Probably not. Jalen Hurts, I believe, is a small quarterback height-wise. Can I verify that and see how tall Hurts is? Hurts is 6'1". He has elite speed. Zappe doesn't have that. So, okay, Wilson and Hurts are making it as short quarterbacks in part because they had great speed. Zappe doesn't have that. So if he doesn't have that, Doug Flutie had elite movability. He doesn't have that. So if he doesn't have that to help him, what does he need to be? He needs to be Drew Brees. And do I really think that that is the case? The answer would be no. So I think that Mac will be the next Jimmy Garoppolo, the next Jared Goff, the next guy that makes a bunch of money that you regret paying. That's what I think about Mac Jones. Bailey Zappe, to me, is going to be worse than that. And the other short guys get by on speed. He doesn't have it. It's the Brady Farkas Show on DEV. I want to get to UVM basketball, but I got to get here to the best of Tom Caron first. So hopefully I have time for UVM basketball stuff. But Tom Caron, we've added to the show lineup every single Wednesday on this show. Usually he's with us at 5:45. I ended up talking to him earlier today, and we talked for 15 minutes. I'm only going to play you the best 5. And it's actually a lot about the Boston Bruins. So you hockey fans out there, this one's for you. But I asked Tom Caron the first question, and I don't know if you've seen this. There is a report coming out of the Dominican Republic that the Red Sox are down in the Dominican, working hard as we speak on an extension for Rafael Devers. Now, stateside media has disputed that report. So I started out asking TC, what do you know and who are you believing right now? The Dominican Spanish-speaking media or the stateside Red Sox reporters?
Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot. I would guess somewhere in the middle. We know that assistant GM Eddie Romero is down there. And again, that wouldn't be exclusively to negotiate with a player. They have the Dominican Academy down there. He goes down there pretty regularly. It was Rafael Devers' birthday, so it would make sense that if he's down there, he's going to connect with him. But again, some of the reports down there, some of the Spanish-speaking media, is pretty adamant that they are not only making an offer, but it's double what the original offer was or something like that, which, it's going to put you in the 7+ years, $200+ million that I think would get this done. It makes, to me, all the sense in the world. I've kind of said, and Chaim Bloom said at the season-ending press conference that the first priority was signing Xander Bogaerts, and we all thought, you go after Bogaerts, that'll make it easier to get Devers. But what if you went the other way? What if you locked up Devers and then went to Bogaerts and said, okay, look, we're putting together this thing. We're going to build around the two of you on the left side. I think that works just as well. So I think it's great news. There's been some whispering that they're talking to Bogaerts, or at least getting ready to put together something for Bogaerts. I still think they're going to go all in. David Ortiz was interesting on Fox the other day, saying that the Red Sox can be slow to make an offer, and when they're slow, it ends up costing them more money. But he said they ultimately have the money and they pay it. So now, again, he wasn't speaking about Chaim Bloom. He didn't negotiate with Bloom, but we know that Bogaerts is at an ownership level. It would not shock me if sometime in the next month they have a Bogaerts-Devers press conference, and wouldn't that jumpstart the offseason?
Last week, I think I told you I didn't have 3-0 on my bingo card. How about 6-1 on the bingo card right now? I thought this team was just supposed to tread water until like New Year's Day, and here we are. People are already talking Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking Stanley Cup yet, but I was one of them. I think I said that to you. I said, all you got to do is tread water, and then they'll get better and slip into a number 7 seed, and we'll see what happens, And, well, instead, it was the best start since 69-70, which was the first Stanley Cup for Bobby Orr. 6-1, and last night was a litmus test. That's a good team.
Yeah.
And you battled. I think they only had one regulation loss coming.
They did.
And you were, it's 1-1. They tie it up. You got to grind that out. Pasta's all over the place last night. Olmark right now. Listen, you don't have a goalie controversy, which is nice because you don't need both going on in town at the same time. You don't need the QBs and the goalies both battling. And I've been a Swaymark guy from day one. But you ride the hot hand, and right now Olmark is looking like a confident number 1 goaltender. I think we've seen that. Montgomery's going to him now. You got to bring along Swayman. He's young. That's fine. But I like this team, and they're only going to get better. Watching McAvoy up in the Nesson booth last night was a reminder of what he can do for the ice. Your best defenseman hasn't played yet, and so you're only going to be better when he's on the ice. I like this team. I'm coming around to him.
Bruins certainly on a roll, unexpectedly, at least to some of us, but great start.
Well, here's the thing, right? Real quick. I was on this panel a couple of nights ago with Trenny Kusnerick and Matt McCarthy from radio station down here and actually Malcolm Mitchell from the Patriots. And it was all about the state of sports. And if you'd have had that 2 months ago, it would have been gloom and doom from the start, right? Or 6 weeks ago. The Celtics are a very good team, right? But the Udoka stuff had just gone down. And you're like, well, that's going to completely derail this team. The Bruins had injuries left and right. They were going to stink. Red Sox were a mess, and we thought the Patriots were going to be, 2-4 after 6 games. Now, Monday was a step back for the Patriots, but the Celtics and Bruins right now are showing you that, and that Bulls game was as ugly as it gets. But this could be a really fun winter, and I don't think we saw this coming. The Patriots are probably leveling off to what many of us expected, but I give the Celtics credit for overcoming any adversity that the coaching situation put down on them. And the Bruins right now are, to me, the biggest surprise of the 4 teams in Boston. So this is way, way better than anything I expected as we sit here approaching November.
Certainly, fingers crossed that it continues. TC, 2-year anniversary of the show. We loved adding you right around year 1. You've been awesome for us, and we appreciate your contributions, and we look forward to talking to you in 7 days.
Happy anniversary. These 2 years in radio is like dog years, right? So that's like the equivalent of being on the air for 14 years. So congratulations. You do a great job. One thing I love coming on this with you is you're always prepared, and you don't just throw hot takes out there. You've got something behind each one of them. So keep up the great work.
Well, thanks, TC. Appreciate that. Means a lot. We'll talk in 7 days.
Thank you, Brady.
Absolutely. There was kind of the best of Tom Caron. We did some cutting and pasting there, so we moved from the Red Sox to the Bruins, but great stuff with TC also. And yeah, great for the Bruins to be off to such a good start. A good win last night against a very good Dallas team, and Jim Montgomery beating his old team. So interesting stuff on the Red Sox. We're going to talk with Buster Olney of ESPN tomorrow. We'll see exactly what he knows about it, but I think TC's probably right. Like, the stateside reporters say nothing's imminent with Bogaerts. The Dominican reporters are saying the team is down there. It probably is closer to the middle, but the fact that there's even an ounce of movement on it makes me happy. The Red Sox need Rafael Devers. The Red Sox need Xander Bogaerts. That's just the way this is. And the Red Sox got a lot of things they need to go right for them in 2023, but having Bogaerts and Devers locked up would certainly help. So, Brady Farkas show here on DEV. Couple of texters getting in still. And we're going to talk more baseball tomorrow, obviously, because we're going to talk with Buster, but we can get in more to the Red Sox, too. I really do want to get in to that UVM basketball stuff. We're going to have to do that tomorrow, unfortunately. It's just the way the cookie crumbled today, so disappointing to not be able to get to it today, but we will get to it tomorrow. That is a promise. Matt says more Bruins talk. Okay, and TC comes on with us every week, so we'll ask TC about it, and we'll get some Bruins insider too. Tex says long season, Brady. Mac has plenty of time to be great. No, he doesn't. Look, the NFL is a 17-game season, right? If you are in a baseball season and a guy hits $110 through the first 25 games, okay, long season, 140 to go. Not a huge deal. We're kind of taking notice of it, but we'll give him a chance. We'll keep putting him out there. It's a 17-game season. The Patriots have 7 games gone. We're nearly at the halfway point. This is not time to, just figure it out. This is, time to go. We're in save our season mode here. The Bears are 3-4. In a wide-open NFC, and they just traded away Robert Quinn, their best defensive player, except for maybe Roquan Smith. Teams that are 3-4 are selling. You're playing a 5-2 team. You go to 3-5, the season could be over. So, no, look, I like Mac. I'll give him the long leash. I'll let him play. I want him to play. But this is not Brady, forget it. He's got a lot of time to be great. Sure, they can be 4-10 and not playing for anything, and then Mac can go throw for some meaningless performances. I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in winning games and getting back to the playoffs. So, 802-585-3026. Yes, adding TC, one of the best things that this show has done. TC, Buster, all kinds of good stuff. Charlie says, give the guy a break. It's his second season. Everybody wants instant these days. He has a lot of years to be great. Charlie, that's a fair point. But here's where I tell you the sense of urgency is. Okay? As a rookie, first-round pick, you get a 5-year contract. 4 of those years, you're incredibly cheap. The 5th year, you become a lot more expensive, but you don't become $50 million expensive. It's like $20 million. This is year 2. You have that 4-year window where the quarterback is really cheap, where you can build up everything around him. That's what teams do, right? Seahawks got to the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. Why? Could pay everybody else around him. Boom, championship. You look at San Francisco with Kaepernick. They didn't win it, but they got to the Super Bowl. Why? He's cheap. Everybody else they can spend on. Rams get to the Super Bowl with Goff. He's cheap. Boom, they can do it. Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, not just because he's Mahomes, because he's cheap and they can pay everybody else around him. This is the window that teams are on. Why do you think Arizona was going and getting DeAndre Hopkins last year? We got to capitalize while Kyler's young and cheap. Why do you think all of these teams are doing this? If you have a young quarter, why do you think the Jaguars are spending all this money in free agency? Trevor Lawrence is young and cheap. We'll go spend all around him. That's where the money can be made up. Mac Jones we're nearly halfway through Mac Jones being really, really cheap. I got to see, if I'm the Pats, I'm like, There is urgency here. Yes, Mac Jones has 10 years to be great. Look what's happening to Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been in the league for a decade and is now playing very, very well. Like, Mac can figure it out. That's true. The Patriots are on a time clock because they either got to pay him $50 million a year, which he's not going to be worth, or they're going to have to get another quarterback like Cleveland did, right? Cleveland moved on. The Niners are moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. The Rams moved on from Goff. All these teams moved on from their guys who they paid who are not good enough or that they didn't want to pay. That is the way that this goes. So, yes, Mac has time to get great. But the Patriots, they don't have as much time to wait. And they don't have as much time to not spend. They need to have their sense of urgency. Happy 2-year anniversary to us. Appreciate all of you. You make this possible. The show is available on our podcast channel. Jazz with George Thomas is next. We'll see you tomorrow on DEV.
Barnes Energy is proudly volunteering again at Wheels for Warmth, October 27th through the 29th.